The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, Jesus told his disciples a parable to the effect that they ought to always to pray and not to lose heart. He said, "In a certain city there was a judge who neither feared God nor respected man. And there was a widow in that city who kept coming to him and saying, 'Give me justice against my adversary.' For a while he refused. But afterwards he said to himself, 'Though I neither fear God nor respect man, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will give her justice, so that she will not beat me down by her continual coming.' And the Lord said, 'Hear what the unrighteous judge says. And will not God give justice to his elect, who cry to him day and night? Will he delay long over them? I tell you, he will give justice to them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth?'" The Gospel of the Lord. So that's a bit of an intriguing, if not strange, parable from Jesus. And it takes some unpacking or unlocking. The wicked judge was forced to act, but not out of justice, rather out of shame. Her begging was so persistent, there was a threat to him being exposed, so he reluctantly acted. This is what he means by being struck down by her. She would bring him down by exposing him through her constant begging. At least that's what St. Augustine thought. Jesus contrasts this with our prayers to God. If the judge was forced to act out of shame, how much more quickly will the God that loves us and cares for us, who gave us his only Son, how quickly will he act for his children? Prayers are always answered, but we only see their power when we first realize that God's plans are not the same as our plans. In other words, God knows what's best for us. But the very act of praying, regardless of what we are praying about or for, brings about real change in itself. Prayer leaves a mark on our minds and on our souls. Without realizing it, prayer forms us into what he wills. This is why prayer is so important. It's not really relevant what we are praying for. Prayer itself is an act of trust, an expression of faith. Personal prayer frees our souls. In those moments of prayer, we become one with God. This is why we're urged to be constant in prayer. But it's not about feelings or spiritual experiences. Sometimes prayer can be cold, hard, and even distant, as if we were ordering groceries. And it's not that we are praying incorrectly. No, the Lord is testing us. And it doesn't matter how we feel, because we are giving time to God. We are acknowledging in those moments that there's nothing or no one more important to us than God. Prayer is our faith in bloom. Yet there's nothing more difficult at times than prayer. The closer we come to the Lord, the steeper the hill, and there are no shortcuts. We all remember the great and wonderful Mother Teresa of Calcutta, one who's often called a living saint. And after she died, she left us her diaries, and they were very detailed about her spiritual life, her prayer life. And the truth is, she didn't have any spiritual experience at all. From the very beginning, her prayer was not responded to. There was no oneness with God. There was none of those feelings we sometimes get when we're saying our prayers. Sometimes we feel that God is there and listening. And other times, certainly in many people's experiences, God seems a million miles away. And our minds are filled with everything else other than God in prayer. We're being rushed. It says our minds are being assaulted with all these other things that we need to see to, or we want to think about. But we must be persistent in prayer, in giving that time up, that quality time up for God. Because Mother Teresa committed her whole life to God. Yet every time she prayed, she received no feedback. no sense of oneness with God, nothing. But she persisted, and that's the key, because our faith, first and foremost, is a yes to God. That's why we have our creeds. It's about our mind and then our heart. We are saying yes to God. Yes, that our lives are here to serve him. Yes, we realise that life is just a test for each of us to see how much we love each other, we love God. That's all it is. It's that simple. There can be millions and millions of books written about it, but it's very simple. It has to be, because it's meant for everyone. Prayer, like faith, is a trial, and it will be a trial until the day we die. And like all trials, it can be won and lost. And this is why Jesus is asking, will he find faith when he returns? There's a very key link being made in all our readings today about faith and prayer. Faith and prayer come together, because we have to express our faith first and foremost in communion with God, which means today worshipping. But as a personal point of view, you must have that personal prayer life. It's the same for everyone. Even priests, a priest may have done 3 or 4 masses and a funeral in one day, or even more. But he still has to say his own personal prayers, because each one of us belong to God in our own unique way. This is why we have to have that strong prayer life. It's why we have to come together to worship together, so we know we're of the one faith and the one God. So be persistent in your prayer life. Stay firm in the faith, because we really don't know when the Lord is coming back. We know it will be when we least expect it. So stay fervent in prayer.